give me some of that plankton penis tomorrow. Sexy ass nigga.
Sorry guys, I heard I was being a little too quiet last time. Oh, what? FYI. Hope y'all are ready for this one because I have pages and pages of notes. I'm even doing the fucking shorts. That's how dedicated I am to this. Without further ado, let's get into it. I actually like the pilot a lot. Actually, it's probably my favorite. And I don't even know if it counts because it's not in the official episode lists in the playlist on the channel. I don't even remember if it's considered canon or not. Either way, though, I thought it was a pretty strong opener. It was funny. It was definitely the show at its best, honestly, which is not good. I don't think your pilot is supposed to be you at your best. You're supposed to get better from there, not worse, but that's besides the point. I think the theme song is really great, and I was actually hoping, like, it would be, you know, a regular cartoon opener. Every episode starts like this, but they didn't really do anything with that. I guess my only big complaint is how oddly it is paced. There was a cutaway and a cutaway, which... it was just really weird, honestly. We probably got to talk about the Stolas in the room. When we meet him in this episode, he starts off as, you know, what you believe would be set up to be either just a joke, non-serious thing, or an antagonist. And if you go from this to the end of Season 2 finale, the person he is in that, it doesn't make sense at all. I don't really have much to say on this episode, other than it's probably my favorite out of all of them. So, yeah.
Let's go lick some ass!
Do you know why I just threw this chair at your head? This episode, in particular, is low-key riddled with, like, the unfunny sex jokes, which, as we all know, is the thing that this show is most criticized for, so I'm not going to dwell on it too hard, but it's in full swing here. All that aside, though, I actually did like this episode because it follows the premise of the show, which... that shouldn't be hard for the show to do, but going back to it after watching these newer episodes, I actually really appreciated actually just doing what it's supposed to do. And while we're on the subject, I should probably remind you what the premise is. 3 imps in hell who get paid to kill people in the world, living world. Or I've seen it described as the TV show The Office, but set in hell. So just keep that tucked away in the back of your mind as this video progresses. But yeah, I like this episode fine. I think it's pretty good. Oh, I also like the teacher's character design. I think that looks pretty cool.
I'm sorry, little kids, but I'm gonna kill a clown today.
I cannot lie to y'all, this episode is actually really good. I know I said the pilot was my favorite, but I think this one might be my favorite. It is weirdly emotional considering this is only the 2nd episode. The episode starts with Stolas comforting his daughter by singing this power ballad. Sing me a power ballad in the comments below. And then there's a time skip. And we see that Octavia, Stolas' daughter, is all grown up now. Basically, Stolas drags her to this theme park that she liked as a kid, and he invites the imps along as, like, bodyguards. Hijinks ensue, and we learn more about Blitz's backstory. Oh yeah, and we get to meet this goat. My goat. I fuck with clowns, and I fuck with animatronics, so they basically made this character for me. I mean, fuck regular Fizzarelli, though. Fuck that guy. I only like the robot. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like in this episode. The humor's not that bad. I don't think it was as bad as the last one. Ugh, pretty good episode.
You know what happens to a handsome guy like me in jail? It rhymes with grape!
We get to meet one of Blitz's many exes. She's a succubus, which is actually pretty cool. But he's kind of a whore, for real. We'll come to find out he's got, like, 1,000 exes, because apparently in this universe, if you're pansexual, that means you're just, like, no one's safe. And, you know, I'm not going to get into it here, but most of the characters that are, like, pansexual in this universe, between Helluva Boss and Hazbin, are just fucking sluts, dude. Verosika is meant to be a villain. She even makes a dig at Blitzo's drug-addicted sister, which should show you how little respect or regard she has for her ex. I sure hope she doesn't do a whole 180 and change for no reason. Oh yeah, and how could I forget? Something that rhymes with grape happens to Moxie. It was just really out of pocket, and I think it goes back to people's confusion on how Vivziepop wants to treat assault as a joke or as something like deadass. The song that she sings here is fucking BUNS, dude. It is, like, probably the worst song in the show. I wouldn't give it that title yet, but I still have a few more I have to get through, but it's bad. It's so ass.
Dude, what the fuck?
This was actually one of the most hated episodes ever until Camp Coral came out. But honestly, looking back, it was overhated. This episode was actually pretty good and funny. I like it. The cherubs serve as what they're supposed to be, which is foils to the imps. They're the exact opposite of the imps. And we're supposed to learn more about heaven this way, because this show is meant to complement Has Been Hotel, like, world building wise. And it does that. Once again, I really like the way the Sinner guys are designed. They look kind of like Batman villains, like old school Batman villains. I fuck with it heavy. Low-key overhated. I enjoyed it.
Look, here's the deal.
Not a bad episode. We get to meet Stryker. He's pretty cool. I feel like it's just a stereotypical bumbling idiot son-in-law has to impress the relatives. And that's been done to death, so yeah. It's nice to get some more world building. This episode largely takes place in the Wrath Ring. And actually, let me put the thing up now, because it's pretty cool the way they have this set up. Oh, this episode has more plot holes than Swiss cheese. It starts really setting up some plot holes. It starts, we got Blitz saying he ain't never been to Wrath, even though, like, in the previous episode with Verosika, there's, like, a whole big thing about how he ran down to Wrath to ride horses or something. In episode 5, Moxie says he's from the Wrath Ring, like, 3 different times on 3 separate occasions. It's just completely forgotten about, in this episode, the X's and O's episode. The animation quality is low-key dog shit sometimes, like in this scene right here in specific. That's ass. I don't know what's going on here. Stryker gives this really good villain speech, and we think Blitz is about to turn heel on the group, and he's like genuinely, like, look at this face, like, bro is dead ass thinking about it, and then he just goes, got you, bitch, got you, got you, and it's like never explored again. They set up this whole idea that, like, he could just be a bad guy and, you know, break bad or whatever, and it's not touched. The ending is pretty good. Like, we get like a kind of cliffhanger. This guy's gonna keep trying to kill Stolas, and he was hired by Stolas' wife, my goat. I like her design. And she does this in front of him, and then he's surprised when people are trying to, like, kill him. It's like, brother, you're at the table with the person who put the hit out on you. Like, are you fucking dumb? God, maybe you deserve to die.
Who put you on the planet?
This episode had a lot of good things in it. I really like this fight scene in specific. This is actually, like, a highlight of the show, like, in its entirety. Like, this fight scene here is just really good. I think one thing the show doesn't get enough credit for is the OST, because the song that plays here, I think it's called Blitz's Bad Trip or something. It's fire. Like, unironically, the original soundtrack for this is just really, like, peak. But yeah, basically Blitz and Mox get kidnapped by, like, IRS agents or something. And then Millie and Luna have to come save them. While they're, like, you know, tied up in the interrogation room, they get hit with this, like, drug that makes them be honest or something, and they both have, like, these respective scenes where they're in their own heads just tripping balls. The animation in this episode is actually really great, and the way they use it differently to tell different parts of the story. Like, you can clearly tell the difference between when we're in Moxie's head and when we're in Blitz's head. And then we get this really cool ending where Stolas comes and he, like, demonically possesses the agents, and he, like, shows his, like, demon form and shit, and it's actually really fire. I fuck with it heavy. This is an example of an actually good demon form. Basic, sure, but he doesn't look anything like how he normally does. He's scary. He gets the job done. Can't complain. Not a bad episode.
Stay.
Now, I don't want to say this is where shit drops off, because that's not entirely true, but at this point, I think we can mark where it becomes the Stolas and Blitz show and not, you know, the show that it was supposed to be. Basically, Blitz wants to stalk Millie and Moxie at this restaurant for reasons that are really not clear, and he needs a date to be able to get in, so he invites Stolas. Things go bad, because, as I recalled earlier, Blitz has gangbanged half the galaxy, and half of the galaxy he's gangbanged is there. And then we've got Hell's biggest hypocrite. This dude here is Ozzy, and he's, like, the sin of lust, right? And he starts shitting on Stolas for fucking an imp, but he's doing the same thing, bro. I fucking imp, you fucking imp, we all fucking imp, bro. The ending is, like, unintentionally hilarious. Obviously very unintentional, because he just sees a picture of his dead mother and he starts crying, and, like, it's like, it happens, like, really fast, and I'm just like, yo. And then Stolas tries to kill himself. I'm kidding, that didn't happen, but, you know, it seems like he got pretty close, I don't know.
It's like puking on a pile of shit.
Cotton candy. I'm sorry you had to hear that. But I'm sorry I had to watch this. The only good thing about this episode was the trans imps, and especially the one with the Vox Flicks and chill shirt. If at the end of the day, I know that bro's got me, and I got bro. Even if I feel like I got nothing, I know bro will be there. If they make merch of him, I will cop that shit. Mark my words, I will cop it. This fucking cotton candy shit might be the worst song in the show. And they got Kesha for this. Like, actually, like, my goat Kesha. I love Kesha. And they fumbled the bag so bad. She's also one of the 7 deadly sins. She's meant to be gluttony, and again, I made a whole fucking rant about her design not being able to. I'm not gonna dwell on it here. I won't. Okay. But she's another one of the royals that are dating like a fucking pleb. Like she's just dating a regular ass hellhound. And my point is, the show wants us to be like, oh my god, Blitz and Stolas are so forbidden because he's an imp and he's a royal. And I'm like, brother, most of the royalty are just dating like the regular ass dudes. Like I don't understand. I think it's important to mention, because this is actually kind of important, that this episode came out after the first 4 episodes of Season 2 were released. This is technically Episode 8 of Season 1, but the release schedule was really weird, and that messed with a lot of people. Not that this episode is really, like, plot important or anything really too much. And I'm not sure why it took so long for this episode to come out, but I'm gonna guess it was because they had to animate this fuck-ass character design.
Shit happens, huh?
The first half of this is like a backstory episode, and we see Blitz and Stolas. They were friends when they were kids, apparently, which feels really out of nowhere. It's the show's attempt to babyface Stolas, literally, and make him a better person than he is. And then there's more daddy issues because... Fuck. What's new? Everybody's got daddy. Everybody in this fucking universe has daddy issues, brother. I think Millie's the only character who actually doesn't have fucking daddy issues. There's another time skip, and we go to, like, right before the events of the pilot, where Blitz bangs Stolas for the book. Which is actually kind of crazy when you think about it, because that fucking book is supposed to be, like, the source of all his, like, power and shit. We see more of Stella, and, you know, their marriage, or whatever. I just realized this owl next to her is kind of bad. Hold up. Towards the end, the last few minutes, Stolas wakes up from his failed suicide attempt, and he sings a song. The song he sings actually isn't that bad. It kind of reminded me of something out of, like, a Tim Burton movie. And I like the design here, like the slick back hair and all that. He actually looks, like, pretty cool here. This episode was pretty long. It was just a lot of backstory shit. Again, like I said earlier, this is where it really became the Blitz and Stolas show, honestly.
I let that happen.
This episode blows, man. It blows. It reminded me how much, first of all, I really... Fuck. I really don't like the way Vivzy Pop draws characters that are human. They look so buns, and very uncanny, and very weird. But that's besides the point. Honestly, just a mid-episode, it was a rehash of all the things that happened in episode 2 of season 1, which was actually a good episode, but it's like the same thing, but just bad. Millie and Moxie were technically in this episode, but they might as well have not even been there, honestly. It would cut back to them for their, like, fucking F-plot storyline, and I'd be like, yo, why are you even here? I totally forgot you guys even existed. And don't get me started on the fucking scene here where Luna has, like, a heart-to-heart with Octavia about, you know, their dads and shit, and, like, daddy issues. And then it just, like, the next scene, Luna beats the shit out of Blitz for no reason. Like, no reason.
Try to cut your dad some slack. You're good.
This episode overall was just kind of ridiculous. And again, more Stolas and Blitz shit. Honestly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I'm tired, yo. I'm tired.
Maybe you got rid of that old yee-yee-ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick.
In this episode, we learn Moxie is from a mob family. And he's banging this shark... Well, he used to bang this shark dude. And apparently Millie also used to bang him, too, for some reason. So basically, in this universe, that's the second character that Vivzy Pop has who's, like, from a mob family. If you watched Hazbin Hotel... Well, not if you watched it. You'd only know this from the fucking 10-hour drawing lore live streams that Vivzy Pop puts out, because she's allergic to actually explaining stuff in her shows. You know that Angel Dust is also from a mob family. So this is, like, the second time this thing has been rehashed, and you're gonna see Vivzy using the same plot points again in the Mammon episode. It's basically just the same fucking thing as Angel and Valentino from Hazbin. If you're gonna copy anyone's flow, copy the flow of my goat Vox. He's high-key the best character, and I'm not taking no complaints on that one. You can steal the recipe, but the sauce won't taste the same. Okay, back on topic. Episode has some more backstory shit. Moxie has daddy issues too, so you can mark him off your bingo list of characters with daddy issues. I like Chaz. Chaz has a cool design. He's a shark. That's pretty cool. And he has his own, like, background music. It's kind of funny, actually. Like, he's got, like, this little hip-hop track that plays whenever he's around. Moxie's backstory is honestly just deeply depressing. Like, nobody has a normal fucking life.
You are mine! You are mine!
A lot kind of happens in this episode. Stolas gets kidnapped by Stryker again, who doesn't end up killing him again because the hit gets called off by Stella. I like the little Wild West song that plays here. It's pretty good. It's catchy. I think this is the first time that the show takes us to the Sloth Ring, which is pretty cool. We haven't seen much of the Sloth Ring or the Envy Ring. We see, like, the lords of it in the Mastermind episode, but other than that, not really much. The tiny imps that sing Stryker's theme song are probably a highlight. I didn't even know they could be that small. Look at them. Oh, I love them. And there's Moxie beating the shit out of Santa Claus. Then there's this battle scene that I like that's, like, coupled with, like, Luna and Blitz in the doctor's office, and then Millie and Moxie fighting Stryker. It's a pretty cool little scene. The original soundtrack is great. I have to say, that is one thing they got going.
I'm about to blow.
This is, without a doubt, the worst episode in the entire fucking show. You cannot top this. You will never be able to top this. The songs, ass. Plot, ass. Fucking character costumes, ass. I said it before, I'll say it again. I like the center design for this episode. It's like the third time I've mentioned one of the center's designs. My goat here, he looks pretty fire. But that's about it. Well, I guess that's not the only good thing. I like that we finally see Blitz's sister, for once, this entire series. She was supposed to be, like, a big plot point, part of his backstory. They just kept dragging it. I have to see him tongue-fucking Stolas every fucking episode, but I don't get to see any of the interesting shit. In my opinion, they should have cut out all of the fucking camper bullshit. I know it intersects with the plot with Blitz and his sister, but rewrite that shit, because the only good scenes were the ones where he was, looking for a sister. They could have had a whole episode just dedicated to him trying to track down Barbie, and they decided to do this shit. And I know that's, like, the common opinion, like, nobody likes this fucking episode. Like, I'm not saying anything, like, risky here. Even people who glaze this show, like, on that shit, they don't like this episode, so that should say something. Definitely the worst episode in the series. Don't try to top that now, because I don't want to have to sit through another one of these.
Fuck you!
Frustration. It's digging in me. Digging in me. We get a whole, basically a whole episode dedicated to fucking Ozzy and Fizzaroli and their relationship. But on God, I don't know shit about Millie still, and she's supposed to be one of the main characters. This episode isn't that bad. Fizz and Blitz reconcile because they both get kidnapped and held at ransom. And then Ozzy and Stolas have to figure out how to get their little imps back or whatever. Why is everybody just fucking an imp? Always fucking an imp. Always raw dogging an imp. I should probably mention that they get kidnapped by Stryker and Moxie's dad, who have partnered up now, which is not a bad idea for a plot point. I understand it now. I understand it now. I'm low-key starting to lose it. This is what this show does to a motherfucker.
How long do you think that would take?
I have come to the realization I'm gonna have to split this video up into 2 parts. This is another one of the better episodes. We got my goat Mammon that we get to meet. He is the sin of greed, which, like I said in the design video, you can probably tell because he looks good. Definitely one of the better characters in the show. He actually acts like how you'd expect a hell person to act, and not, fucking like he's not a good guy, which is good. Because, everybody always gets baby-faced, and it's like, y'all are bad. You need to be bad. As much as I love the goat Mammon, him and Fizzaroli's, dynamic, it's the same fucking shit. It's quite literally the same thing that went on between Angel Dust and Valentine. Let's go frame for frame. We can go frame for frame on this. Watch this. Same thing, different color palette. Same thing, different color palette. And then in this one, we got more Fizz and Oz shit. Again, not that there's really anything wrong with that. It's just there's so much time dedicated to these side characters, and I'm just like, yo, what was the show even about again? I like these twin clown characters. They're fun to draw. Again, like I said, my going back to how much I like a character is low-key based on how fun they are for me to draw. So, I like them. Oh, seeing them just kind of reminded me of something. So, Vivzy Pop dropped the fucking Valentine's Day merch, and y'all are gooners. Let me tell you something. So you know how fast that Luna keychain sold out? Gooners. Y'all are degenerates. But a bunch of degenerates! Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Basically, my point is, these two were featured in a bunch of the merch. And it was weird, to say the least. They were like, they're twin sisters, I think that, you can tell that. And the merch they were in was just, like, weird, hypersexual, like, I don't know, something about it just, it don't sit right to me. Going back to the actual episode itself, though, I like a lot of things about it. There was the one song, I think it was called Juggling is Cool or something, that plays, like, when they're battling it out for the victory, little clown pageant thing. I liked that. That song was pretty good. There's a lot of things that are fine with this episode, honestly, and, you know, my goat Mammon is there, so it's a win for me. I really like this part where Mammon transforms, like, into his full demon form. Again, the demon form itself, not too creative, but it is good in my book. He becomes, like, this nasty fucking bug thing, and it's actually really cool. Basically, Fizz finally stands up for himself, and he quits. And, yeah. I don't like Ozzy's demon form. It's really just the same thing, but he's red. I see red when I'm mad. Demon form. Sorry, I don't really have a good, like, smooth conclusion, but I'm gonna have to end it here. There will be a part 2, because this video is already really long, and I don't think CapCut can really handle my bullshit anymore.